come on now. It's not that very difficult to have spotted the strain on communities, is it? Many people have been warning about this for a very long time. Look, there's a few things going on here. Pick whatever you want, because there's also some interesting stuff going on in Germany on this topic as well. Whatever angle you want, Kelvin.
Well, the fact that very kindly Sir Anthony Blair has decided to agree that him and Brown opening the floodgates for immigration into our country has led to a strain on communities. If anybody wondered why Nigel Farage is going to do stunningly well, for instance, coming up in the Welsh elections, let alone what happened here, and probably in the general election, it's to look back at that decision. So that was a poor decision. He knew what he was doing, but we did have, the only thing I would say about Blair is we did have an economy which could withstand it. Today, we don't have an economy that would stand it, even taking into account anything else. But the other aspect is...
No, don't come to Germany yet. Hold your horses, actually. Respond on Blair, and then we'll bring Germany. Yeah. You won't believe, honestly, I just think sometimes we live in an absolute clown world. The German aspect of this story I'm about to tell you, we'll just kind of reiterate that. But come on the Blair thing.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Blair's interview, I mean, he's basically trying to get it out there that because he was Prime Minister between 2004 and 2008, 2009, before Brown came in, that somehow he's not responsible for a country the size of Sweden that's moved here in terms of net migration. I mean, actually, I checked the figures earlier. Britain's population growth is about 60% more as a result of that. Now, as it happens, I'm pro-migration. I think, as you say, we needed those people for our economy.
Well, we needed people anyway.
Yeah, but we should have been also training our own. That's my other point.
And there you go.
Are we capable of training our own? Are our people too dim and too idle to actually do work? No, I'm asking the question because something is going on in our nation. We have loads of people who are suddenly sick following a COVID, and honestly, we need people to work. We need competition for jobs. We need people to work hard, and all we hear all day long is, "Oh, take it easy, 4-day week. Oh, by the way, if you're sick, you can take next year off." Well,
there you go. He's on his soapbox. You'll have strong opinions on that, but I do want to move on because I'm almost out of time. But Germany, everybody, look, we live in a clown world. This is just further proof of it because everyone's been crying about the Rwanda plan in this country, so much so that the Labour government, of course, have scrapped all of that. Now, you'll never guess what. Tell them, Kelvin.
Well, Germany has now opened negotiations with Rwanda to take over the very buildings which our taxpayers, you and me, and everybody watching this show have actually funded. And that is honestly a new low. There's been a series of lows. The Labour refused to believe that it would be a deterrent if we send even 30 people to Rwanda, right, no matter what the cost. So they said, we're scrapping it. We will now never know. So Labour look more humiliated than even the Tories for spending sort of $750 million on it.
Quick reaction from
Kelvin, here's my prediction. There'll be more members of Olaf Scholz's centre-left coalition party that will get on a plane to go and inspect those facilities in Rwanda than they'll ever be able to deport people out. And that's the fact of it, because Germany's also part of the European Court of Human Rights. Yep. And there will be a pyjama
so it never happened
going out. Never happened.
Well, just
and they'll pick up more money. The clever people of the Rwandan finance department. They made a fortune.
The suggestion of this, honestly, it's just enough to make your eyes water, isn't it? Honestly, we do. We live in a clown world. That's the only way I can kind of describe it these days. And as for Rwanda, at this rate, you'll have queues of British pensioners wanting to be sent over there. They won't be able to heat their homes over here, and goodness only knows what this winter. Rwanda will sound like a decent prospect to many of them, I'm sure.
Our first plane.
Well, to say that the move to bring 2,000 asylum seekers to the former RAF base Scampton was controversial is a huge understatement. For a year and a half, there have been protesters at this gate who are angry and upset about the move to bring asylum seekers here. But tonight, you can see that they're celebrating. This was originally announced by the former Conservative government as a way to stop hotels being used, which were approximately £7 million a day being spent on hotels for asylum seekers. And an answer, as the former government thought, to solve the migrant crisis and the use of small boats to bring people here. And as I said, it has been controversial. There was a move at one time to dig up the bones of Guy Gibson's black Labrador dog. That was one controversial thing. There have been police down here on many occasions. People have been arrested. But what's happened today is the new Labour government, as they had originally promised, have decided to close RAF Scampton immediately for its intended purpose of housing asylum seekers. Not a single asylum seeker has stepped foot into this former dam buster RAF base, but £60 million worth of work has taken place here in the year and a half since the plans were announced. And the new Labour government have decided that the £122 million approximately that would have been spent on the former air base to house asylum seekers between now and the year 2027 failed to deliver value for money for the taxpayers. It has been a very noisy place to report from over the last 2 years. I found it very difficult during this time, and I imagine your viewers can struggle to hear me as well. But tonight, it has been noisier than ever as people that are passing this particular part of Lincolnshire celebrate the cancellation of the use of RAF Scampton to house asylum seekers.
Well, I probably owe you an apology then, Will, because I pass up and down past Scampton quite a lot, and I've been one of those people that very energetically toot my horn as I go by to show my kind of support to the peaceful protesters that have tried to defend their local community. That site was earmarked for hundreds of millions of pounds of investment that would have benefited the local people, opportunities, jobs, so on. Tell us more about that.
Yes, well, it's £300 million worth of investment that was earmarked for RAF Scampton. When the RAF said that they would be closing this particular base, the plan was to sell it to local investors who would invest in essentially a magnificent museum with aerospace technology, really celebrating the role that 617 Squadron, the dam-busting squadron, played during the Second World War, really taking the fight to Germany. And it was only a day or two after the announcement had been made that there would be a secure deal for RAF Scampton to be turned into this visitor attraction that the then Conservative government, particularly under Sir Robert Jenrick, the former immigrations minister, when he announced in the Houses of Parliament in March 2023 that this would be used as that base. Now, what we've just heard from West Lindsey District Council is that they still intend to follow through with that investment, but now they have to actually buy the place.
Well, let's hope actually that the plans do come to fruition and that the locals actually benefit from this facility. This isn't just about Scampton, though. This is a much wider policy, and I'll come into that with my panel after the break. But just tell me, you've been speaking to the people that are there tonight. How are they feeling? What are they saying? What is their sentiment? Do you want to grab anyone and ask them to have a few words?
Well, they're quite happy. They're celebrating right now. They've got their England flags. They've got their Union Jack flags as well. I think right now they're just quite happy to be here. If you want to come back to me in a few moments, I'm sure that we could bring somebody for you live on GB News Tubes.
There you go. Well, thank you very much, Will, and I do apologise if I ever have tooted my horn loudly in your ears. But thank you for all of your coverage on this story.